Hi, this is Charlie Mato-Toyela with Blueberry Flutes. Of course, you know us from blueberryflutes.com, our website, where we have wonderful flutes available for sale and so many people all over the world who order them from us and enjoy them. Of course, you can find our Instagram posts on Blueberry Flutes as well as our Facebook page is under Blueberry Flutes as well. One thing I'd like to mention is some months back, I hate to put a date on anything on a video, but some months back we made a video for Instagram about how easy it is to learn to play the Native American flute. It's in under 60 seconds, and it really was very simple, very easy. However, there was a technique in there, a combination that I wanted to kind of teach you about, something that's unique and something I think I understand pretty well, having played the Native American flute for over 30 years, recorded several albums, played in front of thousands and millions of people. Really it's a wonderful instrument. I enjoyed a great deal, but the one thing I wanted to do was maybe show you, any of you who are not familiar enough with how to play the Native American flute and how to play your own music, a system, not the only system, certainly not the system that old people used to use or that anybody in the future may even use, just a system on how to come up with a song of your own. Now, this system works with just about anything. You just have to know how to, as many of my friends used to say, you have to know how to sell it. So if you can take this system and apply your own techniques to it, your own style, your own ideas, everything about it, you can come up with something truly amazing, truly wonderful, and really I think it's a great way to do it. So we'll just get started. First off, you'll need a piece of blank flute tablature. If you don't have any, there's a place on our website. I think it's currently available on our info page, although at the point that you watch this video, it may be available all over the website for beginners and sheet music. I think also we have a page for that. It's called Flute Tab. It's just blank tablature so that you can write your notes down in a way that you'll recognize them. Now, for those of you, as you'll notice, it only has 5 holes. I know everybody always asks me about 6-hole flutes. Those of you who play the modern 6-hole flute, you can use the same tablature. Just pretend that that little blank space in there is where you have a piece of leather tied on your flute and you're set. You're in good shape. Any note combinations, anything else that you need to do, you can come up with along the way. This system is something that you can build on. So download this, print it out if you can, or just draw it out if you don't have a printer. And from there, you'll need a die. Even since I was a child, I called these a dice, a single dice. I don't know why I did that, but I always did. I didn't have a dice, so I made one. Actually, my wife made this one out of some clay, and we fired it the other day, and I thought, you know, this would be a perfect opportunity for us to make this video. So I'm going to paint it so that the numbers show up a little bit better, just a little something here. I'm trying to decide how I want to do this too, because there's always options of how you can do stuff. I like the ornate when the opportunity presents itself. Oh, now I've run out of sides to hold. Just wipe some of this off. Oh, that looks cool. Wipe some of that off. Those of you who don't have time to wait for paint to dry, I don't suggest starting this at the moment. Or if you want to do this later on. The bad thing is about paint is you wind up sticking a dot inside of your, oh God, what am I going to do? Oh, all better. Anyway, so we've got this and this, and I'm just going to lay that down, put the lid back on it before I make too much of a mess. Not a painter, as you may have noticed. You know, I make some happy trees, but they play. Anyway, I like to play my happy trees instead of paint them. So let me see, I'm going to have to stick something in there. I'm not pleased with that at all. Okay, I'm a terrible painter. Much better flute maker. Okay, now we have a die that has some nice colorings. We have some fingers with some nice colorings. We have a very expensive desk with no colorings, mind you. Thought about that one. So anyway, with this die, what we're going to do is we're going to roll it and see what number it lands on, and we'll use a simple system to basically mark that on our tablature, and then we'll go back and see how one of the ways that we can play it. To be honest with you, if I roll this die, you know, this is such a metaphor for life. If I roll this die and I come up with the same 6 or 10 notes that you yourself may come up with. Using this system, both of us can play a completely different song. I wish the people in the music industry knew that. Of course, many of them do know that, but anyway, so we're going to roll this. If you guys want to come over here and zoom in on what we're doing and see where we're at with our tablature. So let's roll this die, landed on a 6. So a 6 is going to be all holes covered of our tab, which is perfect because even though it's not the old-fashioned way of starting off, I love to start off with all holes covered. Then let's roll it again. We got a 3, so that's going to be 1, 2, 3 holes open. We're going to cover this one and cover this one. This almost sounds like a song I would have played already. And then we're going to go to 4, which is going to be the bottom 4 open. Just cover the top. Let's see what we land on next. A 2. So we basically color in everything except for the bottom 2 holes. And then a 1, everything but the bottom fingering. And I'm going to do this for just a second here to come up with a nice, landed on the table, but it's still a 1. That's perfect. I can imagine in my mind how I'm going to be playing this song already. And I know that many of you that aren't sure exactly what I'm doing or if I'm actually doing anything right now, many of you are probably thinking, yes, I bet you do, but I actually do. This sounds like, as I write it down and read it, it sounds like something I play already. Let's see, and then, oops, I didn't roll that, did I? There we go, a 5, finally, all 5 open, and then we got a 3, so bottom 3, let me see how many notes we got here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 notes. Gosh, you know what, 10 notes have to be plenty. So I'm going to go ahead and play this for you. If you want to watch my fingerings while we're doing that, and I'm just going to play the notes here for you, and then you can watch me play it, and you might be able to get some ideas of what to do. So watch me. I may make a mistake. I do that, as you can probably tell, with the paint, but just watch me. I'm going to take my time with it so that I get it right, and we're just going to play these first 10 notes on this piece of tablature. Okay, so if you guys want to zoom back into position where you can see me, you have an idea if you were following along. If you weren't keeping up with it, I know it's difficult when you're hearing something, when you're seeing it, trying to follow exactly, especially when it comes to a new idea, something that you may have never considered before, or I don't know, there's just so many reasons why you might have missed this. The good thing is you can go back and rewind. So unlike me, who can't make a mistake right now, if you guys make a mistake, go back and rewind, it's okay. So very simple, and I'm just going to play the notes. If you noticed, I played one little piece of embellishment, but I'm going to play them as I read them here on this paper, and I will go back and play them again, maybe with a little different style. So the first time I'm going to play them similar to the way I just played it. The next time I play it a little differently. So let's see where this takes us. Now, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to take those 10 notes that I just played, I'm going to play them one time, similar to the way that I just played them. Then I'm going to go back and I'm going to repeat them nonstop in a slightly different variation. This is part of the creative technique. This is the same way that all of us do things. We just don't always have a little lady luck here to help us out. Most of the time, when we create something, whether it has to do with the beauty of this note and that note matching one another, or those of you in music theory, if you've learned because, you know, this is going from diminished to elevated 11th, I mean, please, it's okay. Just sit back and relax for a minute. This is actually part of the creative gene that we all share. Actually, everything shares, I think, that helps us to grow and become great. And this technique, I'm just breaking it down for you. We're using something a little random here. This could have been a stick that lands on one side or the other. If you want to write your music out in binary, this could be a card, a playing card. I've actually done the same system with playing cards, and it works great. You just have to know the value of each one of the cards and how to use them. And it's even better if you start off with cards A through 5 or 1 through 6 if you're going to play it the same way we're writing the music out for this particular tablature. So now that you know what I'm doing, I'm going to play it through. I'm going to show you something that you may have never considered before. We're going to make an actual song out of those 10 notes that I just played for you. And I'm going to play it a little bit so that you can kind of get an idea for it. Once again, playing the exact same 10 notes that we rolled our dice for each of the several times that I play it. So here we go. So not too bad. I only added one note. Many of you think, well, you added several notes. No, actually, I used a technique of going from one note to the next, like you can use a technique to go from one note to the next, especially in flute. In flute, they have trills and they have grace notes and they have glissandos and gosh, everything in the world that you can come up with to give a fancy name to something that's not Native American. But anyway, so with the Native American flute, being that it has only 5 notes, and of course we have a die with 6 sides, that's perfect because we have, when I say 5 notes, we actually have the 5 fingerings here and the 6th. And of course, those of you who have the modern Native American flute with the 6th hole here that you don't use most of the time, let me tell you, you certainly could add that as one of your notes and make this 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6. You don't want to go there. You do not want to go there. You'll see exactly the reason that I always talk so much against the way that flute is designed. So with this technique though, like I say, it will work with anything as long as you follow some principles and basic patterns and steps and techniques. There's really nothing to it. I played that piece, that same 10 notes, over several times, and each time I played it a little differently. And if you'll notice, when I got to the ending, to the 10th note, any of you who are counting, I actually sometimes didn't stop at the 10th note and came back and played the first note again. The reason I did that is that's the one I wanted to land on. So when it went like, that's actually going from the 10th note into the first note and the second note already. So those of you who might think, well, that's just crazy. How can you do such a thing? It is really that simple. I mean, we could sit here and roll the dice all day long. I didn't use loaded dice. This one's made out of clay. But we could do this all day long and write a beautiful, very compelling song. And the thing that you need to learn how to do, the only thing that you need to learn how to do, because the notes are all there for you. There's no more or less notes that you could possibly need other than the ones we just played. You can come up with other ones if you want to. The only thing that you need to do is learn style and technique. And that's something we have lots of other videos for. We'll be making more videos for in the future, of course. And style and technique is just how you pronounce the notes through the flute. Everything from a little bit of vibrato in there to a little vibrato, long note going into a short note, playing a long note again. I mean, gosh, everything is style and technique. Bouncing, my favorite technique here, the bouncing little bird technique. Anyway, sometimes I have to pause on that and see if the camera person smiles, and if they're smiling, I'm taking for granted there's a good chance you might be. So using that little jumping bird technique that I've talked about so many times in other videos. It's just how you play it. That's all there is to it. So anyone out there wanting to learn more about how to play the Native American flute, there are so many resources available to you. More people than myself who have given instructions on the matter. I hope that the rest of them try to give good detailed instructions and try to make them as easy to follow and make as much sense as I try to anyway. It's hard to get something out of this idea right here into something that everybody in the world can understand. And so for that reason, sometimes it may be hard to follow others. Myself, like I say, I want to make sure that it's something that everybody can enjoy. So just as a recap, get you a piece of flute tablature. You can find it on bluebearflutes.com. Our info page, I believe I have it on our sheet music page. It's probably on the beginner page. It might even be on the flute making page. I don't know. It might even be on the home page at this point. Download that, print it out. And you can make your own song with any great number of simple techniques. You can ask your children, you can ask your parents, you can ask anybody, give me 10 random numbers, I need them right now. And it'll come up with something that you can use. And once you get past having to have those numbers, as soon as you master techniques enough that those numbers are just a crutch, at that point, you'll get to where you really enjoy playing the flute as much as many of you tell me you like to hear it. So once again, hope this guy has helped you out a lot today, and certainly I hope to help you out a whole lot more in the future. You guys take care. Thanks so much for watching our videos. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. And all of you out there, we appreciate you so very much. Take care, and thanks again. This is Charlie with Blue Bear Flute signing out. See you soon.